Recently, I was out running errands with a friend, picking up groceries and some other needed supplies. Along our way, we drove through an area where there were several homeless people standing about, holding up signs which pleaded for help. Of note, just 10 years earlier, there were no homeless in this particular area. And I mention this as a brief aside only to point out the direction in which our society is headed. My friend and I had gone through a fast food drive-through less than 15 minutes prior, and I had some uneaten, untouched food left over, still relatively fresh in its wrapper. As we pulled up to a stoplight, I motioned for a homeless woman to come over to our car window, and I offered her my leftover burger. She gladly accepted and thanked me several times. As our light turned green, we both exchanged a "God bless," and my friend and I continued along our path. "I'm glad you gave her food and not money," my friend said to me. "Oh, and why do you say that?" I responded. "Well, if you'd given her money, for all we know, she might have just spent it on drugs," my friend retorted. Now, I tend to look at the world differently than most, and so I said this to my friend in return. "Well, homeless people live a pretty bleak existence. They rarely get to shower, they never know where their next meal is coming from, and there's always a degree of danger about. I'm not saying I want them to do drugs, but if they're seeking a reprieve from their pain and suffering for a while, who am I to judge them?" My friend just sort of looked at me for a moment and didn't say anything in response. That's a reaction I tend to often get as someone that speaks my truth, even when it's unpopular or uncomfortable. My point in sharing this brief story is not to champion drug use among the homeless,
Because drugs are bad, okay?
but rather to illustrate the fact that we tend to think solely with our heads and not with our hearts. The intellect alone cannot get us everywhere. The heart has an intelligence all its own, and in order to access this deeper wisdom, we simply have to engage it. My mind by itself may have judged the situation, as did my friend, but my heart took a deeper look, and when we examine issues in depth, the truth has an opportunity to rise to the surface. If we wish to see true change in our world, we have to walk in truth. We have to talk in truth. We have to search for truth, both within ourselves and in the world without. Seek the truth. As a wise man once said, it is the only thing that will set us free.